Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. Well, you guys, you know how I do. You come in every Monday, so you know what's up. What I do, I introduce my special guest, but before I do so, I have to tell you a few things that my special guest is associated with. One, he is born and raised in Marietta, Georgia.
Right, that's right.
We clap that up. Another thing, he's affiliated with Community X, and we'll find out more about that. And last but not least, he has knowledge of this billion-dollar industry that I need to learn more about called esports. So you guys, please put your hands together and welcome my young man friend. His name is Julian Fitzgerald.
Thank you. I love
Welcome.
it. Thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Did I get all your stuff right?
That's absolutely right. Many people just say Atlanta, but Marietta, that's special. That's home. Yeah, so absolutely, you got that right. Plenty to learn, plenty to talk about. But yes, you absolutely got every single thing spot on.
Awesome. I want to make sure we rep because I love Vegas and I rep Vegas. So I want everybody to rep their hometown in the right way.
I hear that.
So before we get started, I always ask my guests this one particular question. What makes you tick? What makes you boil? What gets you going?
What gets me going? Ooh, yeah, I would say thank you for the question, first of all. But right now, it's recently been, not just the work I do, but the type of work I do. And it's been about really, again, engaging the Black community, empowering them in a social, economic way. And I really figured out this not too long ago, but I really just, learned all this to help my cousins. But what gets me going is learning different things that are going to actually help us not just be in part of a process, but own a part of a process. So I'll elaborate, but at the end of the day, ownership, leadership, yeah, I would say even just that self-ambition that, a number of people have, those are the different things that get me going.
I like that. I like that, especially with ownership. I think that's so important. So many times we create great things, but we don't get a chance to own it. Other people own it. And when they own it, they get to tell their story versus us telling our story. So I like that you
You hit it
I
on.
like that you have that.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. And yeah, so please, yeah, keep the question going. I love that. I would say, I know this is one way, but what is something that makes you tick? What keeps you going?
For me, I
Mhm.
love the fact that I can always tap into any kind of music in any kind of way. For example, if I'm having a day where things are low and I'm sad, I can put on Never Would Have Made It. And I know it sounds cliche, but it pulls my energy up. Or I can put on some Sade, Your
Oh
Love is
yeah.
King. It can be
Yeah, come
many,
on.
many, many things. So music for me has no boundaries. It's what you like. And guess what? Today I can say this and tomorrow is something else. And guess what? It is absolutely okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes. So let's talk about music as we started. But I have a question. Can you identify a song that has either blessed you, given you perspective, or distracted you?
Mm,
Now, before you answer the questions, there's
okay.
rules to this. You ready?
Walk me through it.
If you can sing, I need you to sing your throat box out.
Whoa.
If you can rap,
Right.
I need you to come hard in the paint. I need you to do what you do, how you do it. But
You can't
if
be
you
me.
cannot do that, last but not least, I need you to say it boldly, 10 tones down, with
Yeah.
passion and with meaning. So I'll go back to my original question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Blessed you, a lyric that either blessed you, distracted you, or provided perspective. Can you tell me one?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. And man, I hope I can get like the thing that's on my heart. I know it's one or two things. Um, yeah, so a lyric that really blessed me and gave me perspective is actually by an artist named Sylvan LeCue, and most people haven't heard of him. Can't even tell you where he's from myself, but he has an album that itself is a group therapy session. And so,
Mm,
the skits are literally different brothers and sisters that sound like you and talk like you that are actually in therapy, but the songs themselves are powerful. And he actually has one that's called Coffee Break. So it's almost like the interlude, but it's really the first two bars in the song, but it's also another two that are in the, and I can't even, spit it word for word. But the first few is, he's like, I've been thinking centuries. In 200 years, when he mentions me, and I
mm,
love that. And that just sat with me so hard because it's, what are you doing right now that's going to mean something in 200 years from now? And
yeah.
that sits with me. That's almost an existential element. I don't want to say crisis, but that's a dilemma I have to really challenge myself on a regular basis. And then later in the song, he himself is saying, I'm trying to figure out what the newest vibe is when someone's telling me your lyrics kept me from, save my life. So don't change what you're doing. And he's, saying that. So it's like, you can see the real example of that, but also from me, what does that look like in my world? So, just that first, that's the opening sentence, and that's like halfway into the album, so it can go unmissed or it can go unheard really, and easily missed. But in 200 years, will these people mention me? And I'm
Wow.
like, what are you doing with that? I've been thinking centuries. And so that's the first one. That's Sylvan LeCue. The album is called what is it? Apologies in Advance. I want,
Mm,
yeah, because it starts off on the first album, the first song is, I just want to be the best me. And then it's literally every song is something to deal with your mental. It's like reflections, it's like how you do self-sabotage, it's a number of different selfishness. Yeah, it's like, yeah, so it's powerful.
wow.
That whole album, I would say you can, speak to how it could, really change you. Great question. I
I
like that.
l- I love that. I think that's dope because we always want to project for the future, but also reflect right now. And I think that gives a combination of both. What are we doing right now? But
Mm-hmm.
also, are we thinking long term? Because we know others may think long term for us, and we're thinking about right now or today. We have to
Right.
have a plan for the future. So I love the fact that it seems to be like you say therapy, but it makes you really go deeper, dive deeper, think
Yeah.
deeper, and I like that.
Yeah. Thank you. That was a great question. I'm glad I was able to, that's the exact answer I would have wanted to share. So that's great.
Oh, amazing, amazing. So as I introduce you, I talked about you being affiliated with Community X.
Mhm.
Can you share some information, how long you've been a part of it, and what was your catalyst to be a part of this company and what the company actually do? I hope I didn't give you too much too fast.
Not at all. This is what I do. So community itself, and feel free just to say it as you would, silent. So community itself, I actually skip over the X, so I'll start with that. Maybe second, but our organization is focused on increasing diversity and equity within not just the gaming industry, but really largely the digital entertainment industry. And I say that because what we recognize is these are ecosystems that we actually understand, but at the larger level, many of us don't quite see that there's opportunity not only within gaming, but a career within the ecosystem. And so going back to the X real quickly, what we wanted to do was really solve for a problem that we ourselves experienced. So myself, my co-founders, we actually founded this organization in 2019. And so
Wow.
this is something that my co-founder, he was like, I played Halo. I beat the guys that are now getting paid, online and I didn't know the pathway of getting to that type of that room, if you will. And similarly, I was the 13-year-old, 14-year-old who could have hooked up your computer, your TV, you name it, and did not know that IT was a career path. Just it's two letters. Didn't have anyone in my immediate environment to share with me what I could probably go into, knowing that I had the interest and somewhat of an awareness. And so the lack of both exposure and awareness is really what got us started. If you look at, the different disparities in regards to why is there this lack of awareness, the gaming ecosystem traditionally, you think of the word esports, that's not what it was called, but it was really all online gaming that gave gaming a rise at a level that, competition was able to really exist. And so we know about arcades, we know about the Atari, the Sega, the PlayStation, and that's what we had in our environment because these consoles are way more affordable and they're also, again, they're a console that you can just plug in and play. But at a competition level, the PCs, the gaming PCs that really came on the scene in early 2000s is where esports was actually relegated to. And so it was a huge digital divide from an actual resource and infrastructure perspective, because those PCs start at $1,500, right?
Yes.
Most expensive console ever, it was the PlayStation 3, and that was $600. Now they're all 500, right? And so really sharing that as a reason why that we got started, and also understanding the industry itself is way bigger than just esports. And so I mentioned the X, and so I'll explain that real quick before I mention this last piece. But the X button is one button that's found on every console and controller. And so what we want to do is really be, if you will, the meeting place or the nexus for all the different types of gamers from different backgrounds, right? And especially from if you will, a race or a socioeconomic perspective, it really doesn't matter. We want to make sure that you have a home, if you will, from resources, information, network, and then actual, education and instruction. And so the reason why all of this is important is because the gaming industry is a $200 billion industry.
Ooh, wait a minute. We need to pause that button again,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah,
I need
exactly.
you to say it very slowly because I was a novice to this. I just recently found out this information last year. So I
Yeah,
need you to say it because I want to be able to draw the line from a parent or a older sibling to
absolutely.
what the younger young men and young women are doing so they understand, because a lot of time it's a disconnect and they
Yeah,
think, oh, it's just the games. But we want to talk about behind the scene what other opportunities are available.
absolutely. And that's something that myself, coming out of the Marine Corps, working at State Farm, I was actually consulting with entrepreneurs and professionals to help them build nonprofits, as that was something that I really did in my downtime and got good at fundraising and then fund development. So I really built or cut my teeth, if you will, within the social impact space. And so I even asked my co-founders, I was like, gaming, man, what are we doing? What is this? What are we doing here? Like, let's give them something serious. I'm coming out the military, working at this multi-billion-dollar company, State Farm. But then you also look at, wait, what gaming is how big. So the thing that I want to say again is the gaming industry is not just a $200 billion industry, it's $200 billion. But if you look at it from a media perspective, the film industry, excuse me, the music industry is anywhere from a 30 to $40 billion industry globally. Film is about $80 billion globally. And so currently with gaming, that's is second behind television, is at $200+ billion globally. There's a substantial amount of opportunity in this space. The piece that really got our attention and really got us to work, rather, not just our attention, was the disparity of the ecosystem as it relates to actual workforce. And so when we got started, it was only 2% African American. And so out of that $200 billion ecosystem, that doesn't mean 2% owners, 2% employment within this $200 billion. Yeah, so we could be the graphic designer, getting paid, so that's the point that we really got us to work. We understood this ecosystem itself to really tie back to not just parents, but to career opportunities, to understanding this ecosystem of gaming is actually something that we understand, especially within the Black community, right? And not just that, I'll share the reason why. It's, if you look at the music industry, which resembles gaming, we understand the music ecosystem is an ecosystem, right? And so it's something that the music artist and the producer, yes, they make the art that we all enjoy, right? But we know, I think in our generation, Master P taught us better than anybody. You can go independent, right? And still
Yes.
make a lot of money, do really well, or you can go to the label, no problem. But what's the major difference? The independent route, you're still going to have to figure out the 90-10. That 10 is distribution. right? So
Mm-hmm.
you still need to know what the business is after you've built the product, whether it's a song or a game, right? And so I tell this to our young people, and I also share this sometimes with parents of, let me, finish the full ecosystem, and that makes a lot of sense. I say, if the artist and the producer are the ones who are making the art, that's similar to the game developer and the game designer who are making the game, right? Every single Madden game has someone who creates that front cover. They get paid six figures, if not more, to create that art. I mean,
Yes.
Fortnite, you name it, Roblox, all of them, they have art elements, but someone also has to program. So there's the artist and the producer, just like the music world. That's the developer and the designer. They can go
And
independent. Go
and if
ahead.
I may ask, also too, you have the element of music because it's a lot
Oh,
of
big time.
collabs with the music industry, correct?
Absolutely. So half of the gaming world, half of any game is game audio, right? And if you press a button and you hear it feedback, that feedback is what immerses you into the game itself. That's a part of gamification. And I can go far there because we've also built a lot of lessons so that not only students understand, but also teachers. But just to that point as well, in regards to the ecosystem, just like an artist and a producer, the developer and designer, they can go independent or to the label in the gaming world is called a publisher, but they have the same option just like the music artist. But
Wow.
the in the music world, going, and dropping your music, you say, I'm gonna use SoundCloud or I'll use the YouTube so people can just hear my music. It's free, it doesn't cost me anything. Yeah, I have to get people to click on my link, but that's the option. Same thing, a game developer can drop their game onto the App Store, onto Google Play Store, onto Steam, right? I use a game example that is huge and as it relates to a large independent game. We've all heard of Minecraft.
Hmm.
Minecraft was built by one person. He
What?
didn't he didn't actually hire anybody until like year 8. And then really, I think when he IPO'd, or not IPO, when he sold to Microsoft for like $1 billion, he only had less than 20 people on his team. So Minecraft itself is an independent project that got bought by Microsoft and it's huge. And that, they might have had a larger team, at the end there for marketing sake, but the team that built it was a very small team. And so just similar to, artists that get big on YouTube, whether it's a Yeet or a Weekend or anyone like that, they all dropped a project and, got big. I tell that to our young people, and that's an example that they can get. But I also share a few more things and I'll pause. But the gaming ecosystem, again, is just like music. Think about outside of getting the music distributed, you still have music concerts, right? And so that's the live event side of things. You have merchandise that you can sell direct to consumer as well. So artists know that there are ways and different avenues to generate revenue. Same thing in gaming. What's the live event side of gaming? That's esports. And so
Mm.
instead of concerts, that's what esports is. It's the live events. It's the competitive side, right? You can do esports online entirely 100%, but it's still going to be a live event that a lot of time brings people in from a spectation or a spectator perspective, right? And so that's the piece that I share. And you still have merchandise that you can do in esports. You still have direct to consumer that you can do in the gaming world. And I also share, just like in music, there are people who don't make music at all and still have made off of millions. Think about the producer software, the Fruity Loops, all the different sound, GarageBand, all those different.
Yes.
Somebody sold GarageBand to Apple. Think about that. That's huge, right? That was not just in native to them. Like those things are huge. But the reason I share that is, in gaming, there's an app called Discord, right? That was prioritized for the gamers, and now it's $1 billion app. And so I tell software engineers, you don't have to be a game developer if you already have a skill set. You just need to know what gaps exist, so you know what problems to solve. And so at the end of the day, what we really help our students, our end users, really sometimes even adults, because we have people who are, working professionals who are looking to transition into gaming. It's about understanding how you're adding value, right? And I share this to say, anytime you catch yourself saying, man, they could do it better if they did it like this, right? Even as a gamer or a software engineer or as a music artist or as a graphic designer, that's an opportunity for you to then say, well, let me build maybe a prototype myself, and let me
Say
find out
that.
how to shoot my shot and get in someone's email to share them with what ideas I have. And so I encourage, really anyone to say, anytime you catch yourself saying they could probably do it better if, that's probably an awareness that you have that you can learn to cultivate a skill set around. So that awareness is where you start. I say, again, what we're doing is we're using interest-based curriculum, interest-based touch points to then develop in, someone's mind or someone's skill set. And so start off with your interest, build up your awareness with everything you're interested in. After that, you want to then look at how you can build up your skill set. And then with that, you are really you have the ability to add value, right? And so once you have the ability to add value to a certain space, then it's about your understanding and ability to articulate that skill set or that set ability to do so. And so that's something that we teach and share really at any level from middle school to postgraduate. But the biggest piece is a lot of what you're learning in this ecosystem is transferable into other spaces, right? My last example is the game Fortnite, everyone knows, was built in a tool called Unreal Engines. And Unreal Engines is basically it's a game development tool, but it's a physics engine, right? With a lot of animation overlays and now cool functionalities. But it's very cool. It's a very cool tool to use if you want to be, physically correct with the real world. And so this tool is not just used to create Fortnite. They also Marvel uses this same tool for their Avengers movies, right? So it's
Are
not
you kidding me?
absolutely not. It's not traditional CGI. They're using Unreal Engines, and Chevrolet uses it for their car commercials, right? And then real estate organizations, and sometimes, if you will, architect organizations use these for building renderings. So there's a number of different things that if you learn this one skill set, you have a skill set that can transfer into multiple industries, not just gaming. So that's the last layer that we approach, because again, if you're and running an esports event, especially if it's online, that's just a mix between production and event management, right? Where can you go if you have production skill sets or a portfolio? And so at the end of the day, all like I shared, it's really about using those different touch points to develop our end users portfolio, so that as we understand, we're going up against these different, Ivy League resumes. But if you've done the work, if you've exercised the skill set and iterated on your understanding, a lot of times that's what the difference maker is. So in a nutshell, and thank you for letting me, kind of speak to that piece. That's what we do. And gaming is way bigger than just, again, the gameplay, but the professionals that contribute to this industry are, again, valuable to not just this ecosystem, but a number of others. So I love what this has become. Definitely, again, gaming is plus $200+ billion. Esports is $2 billion. So I tell students, think about that comparison, but digital entertainment is, much larger than that. So these skill sets can really set you up to really engage this larger ecosystem at large.
I absolutely love how you broke it down. You gave everybody a little piece to say, you learn this, it can transfer to this, or
Yeah.
it can work for this. And I love how you compared the Cadillac commercial and say, hey, get this all packaged into one and it can benefit you across the board. So I really, really love that. I'm learning, I'm a student today, learning everything I need to know about this conversation. So thank you for breaking it down. I
That's
do have a question for you.
Mhm.
So this particular community X, or it's just community.
It's
At,
community. Yeah.
okay, it's community. I keep saying community X, excuse me, it's community. Do you guys provide online classes if someone see this particular video and it's like, wow, I would like to know more. I want to be a part of it. Do you have these classes that people can go online and do the class or find out more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So 100%, just like you see the name there, is really community.co.co. We do have online programs from, fireside chats with professionals from um, NBA, DoorDash, Riot Games, Activision Blizzard. We also have done a number of different programs that are either, one day in nature in different communities all over the country now, actually all over the world, which is quite interesting. But then also in more structured, certificate type building programs, we do have, different game development courses. And those are going to be something that are much more, nuanced to either specific school groups and or kind of cohorts, if you will. But yes, to answer your question, our biggest thing is again focused on like a layered approach. So we have again our 1 day, 1 hour to 4 hour touch points to focus on exposure within either one or multiple tracks so that the end user understands, oh, I can go into game development or broadcast production or even organizational management, right? And then esports is still separate from those other pieces, but there's still a lot of different tracks. So there's an exposure piece. And then outside of that, we have, again, more of an introductory awareness and education that leads into actual skill building. So things that you can do at home on your computer, and then with certain equipment, things that you can do where you're building and contributing to certain assets. And so a big part of our programming is so that our end users, our learners, are building artifacts that they can add to their actual portfolio. And again, that's a word I'll continue to use because it's not just their resume, but it's, hey, let me see your website, first name dot last name, or your LinkedIn, right? Or a flash drive that has the work that you've actually contributed to, right? Not something that you got to market or sell, but something that shows I've done this before. I understand the concepts from the fundamental perspective.
So really a digital resume, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So track record. Absolutely. And so that's what we do. We also then provide opportunities for students to kind of streamline their current pathway, whether it's through scholarships, access to conferences and work like industry events. That's the biggest thing that really makes a difference for professionals today. So why not give students that same type of opportunity, right? But then also building infrastructure. And so we've to date built over 15 different innovation labs, the CTE labs that can be used absolutely for gaming and esports, but also production or game design. And so these are things that happen at the HBCU level, at Boys and Girls Clubs, parks and recreation centers, private owned community centers, and of course, some of our schools as well. So we've been busy and almost have half as many as that in the next 6 months or so. So we got another 6 labs in front of us. And so between our education pillar focused on exposure and skill building, our infrastructure pillar that really provides a lot more of the understanding of really just access to, continue the understanding rather, and then access to industry for those who have built a bit of a skill set and a resume who now just need an introduction or really kind of a foot in the door, so to speak. That's what we do at large. And so these things we definitely look to grow and scale. We're now in a few different markets, Atlanta, Philly, and DC, soon to be this year, Charlotte, LA, and possibly here Las Vegas. So we're very excited to be able to grow in the way that we are, but focused on, again, adding value back to, again, BIPOC, underserved communities at large.
Yeah, yeah. I love everything that you're talking about. We need to have these conversations, and I'm a big proponent. I say this over and over again. Exposure and engagement, that's always the first. They go hand in hand. And from there, you can go anywhere else you need to go.
Yeah,
So
I like
I love that you gave us this display of what it does and how it works.
that.
So I'm gonna get back. We're gonna just back just a little and go back to music. I love music.
I
It
love it
has
too.
turned me all the way out in a good way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, can you identify a song that you sung as a child? I mean, you loved it, you enjoyed it, and then you became an adult. You go, wait 1 minute. I didn't realize this song said that. I wasn't aware. I was singing this all that time. Can you
Yeah,
identify a song?
probably one or two. Let me see. Oh, gone. Now there's probably a few good ones. So I'd say, what's the song that's I don't even know the actual name of the song. I just know the most popular lyric.
Okay, give it to
Um,
me.
what's the one where you like doing the but what's the next
Work
sex?
that.
The sex
I think it's EUD. It's
yeah, yeah,
EUD.
yeah.
EUD.
Exactly,
They're out of
exactly.
DC.
Yeah, okay, VUD. Okay, that's one. And I think the other one's escaping me, and it's a by a young lady, but it's escaping me at the moment. I'm kind of interested to know your answer as well, but that's yeah.
So
That's
before we do
good.
that, let's go back to EUD and why did you, as a child, you sung it, and then as an adult, you realized what it was. So give me
Yeah.
some background on that.
I think that one, along with probably a few others, my parents listened to a lot of jazz, a lot of, if you will, the Quiet Storm. So I just grew up listening to different songs. And so again, singing it, I don't even know what you think you're saying, but as you grow up, it's really like, all right, cool. How is this on the radio every day? That type of thing. But no, I think as a kid, I just knew the words because it's a song that you hear so much. But
Mm-hmm.
as an adult, you get a chance to analyze, based on your own life experiences. And I think the biggest thing is, why was this a song that I was able to learn as a kid, right? And so that's something that I know that, between that, Kim, Angelo, D'Angelo, I knew a lot of different songs as a young person. So I can't name one in particular. Excuse me as I grab my charger here, but that's a very good question. Again, I like that one. Yeah.
Well, and doing the butt, I remember that song. And of course, it was catchy, it had the beat. And then now, doing the butt you don't know what it may mean in this now current situation. I
Come
know
on.
before that was just a dance where you were like,
It
you
was
kind of
a
put your
bump.
butt out
Yeah.
and you did it. You
Yeah,
like
yeah. Just a
doing
little
the
hip
butt.
bump. Just a little hip bump. Yeah.
Yes, but so can you give me a particular song that you were able to purchase all on your own, whether you got birthday money, you
Uh,
received money for Christmas, it was a purchase you did all on your own. Nobody influenced you on what you actually chose. Can
yeah.
you tell me a song or a artist?
I can give you a rundown. Yeah, because I'm glad to say I'm part of the last part. I'm the last part of the group that was able to buy music. This new group, they just got subscriptions. So, but definitely Lil Wayne, his Carter 3 album, that was like, this is me. I get to buy this. I'm downloading this. I bought one of the hit, or what do you call it, the actual single. And so, when you commit to that level, and then you got to buy an album, that was one. I also, at the time, I don't know why, but I was also into like John Legend. So I actually bought some of John Legend's
Okay.
music. Yeah. And so definitely those two are coming top of mind. I could probably say a
Well,
few more, but yeah, those are coming top of mind.
so you mentioned Little Wayne. Give me something that Little Wayne that stands out to you, and you can maybe talk about it. The lyrics. Did
It's
I
got to
put you
be
on
a
the
Millie,
spot?
a Millie, it's like, that's the
Yes.
same one every time. Um, Yeah, a millionaire. Oh, come on, that's a good one. Sicilian with no hair, coconut dairy. Yeah, I'm sitting in a Lamborghini, hoping to see me. Like, look at that, said Weezy. He's a beast. He's a dog. He's a motherfucking problem. Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. Okay,
That
these are
was
things that
so
you
dope, and it's
problem.
still tight
Yeah,
to
that's
this
good.
day.
That's
Yeah.
familiar. I didn't even see that recently. That's a good one. That's that was again when I was like, all right, cool. I could make this decision for myself. Yeah, that was a good one.
And with that, do you still remember, do you still listen to that actual CD to this day when you want to just go back and have that memory of the past and how it made you feel?
Yeah, that if I want to go back to memory lane, it's definitely now a playlist that I can go. It's like the 2000s, 2010s that, I'm only so old, like I said, but that one would definitely be it. Um, Alongside that, I can also say something like Lupe Fiasco, Kick
Okay.
Push, or Daydream. Kick Push, I knew every word. Daydream, I know every word to Daydream. With Jill Scott too. Yeah, that was the hit. So that one
Ooh,
that one takes me back.
give me some
Oh
Jill
man,
Scott.
huh?
Give me some lyrics because I'm
Just,
not trying to get you to sing
no, no, no,
it.
yeah, because Jill Scott sings on that song. She's doing more of like the melody, so she doesn't have too many actual lyrics.
Hmm.
She's doing like the I can't even get that out, but she's doing that in the background. But
Yes.
for my early days, Jill Scott, it was everything from of course, Living My Life was my introduction, like the
Living my
golden.
life like it's golden.
That was my
It's
introduction all day. Golden was my introduction, but then like Rain on Me was what I came a fan of Jill Scott myself. She had a song, dun, 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 Rain on Me. Mm, 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 mm. I'm talking about all day long. I can put that one on repeat. So yeah, Jill, but Jill, Lupe, yeah, and definitely Wayne, but that will also all of those take me back to memory lane, back in the house when you know got to stay inside the house, that type of age. But yeah, for sure, for sure. That's a good time.
so, we all have our ups and downs. It says in the Bible, the rain falls on the just and the unjust. So we all have our times where we need to pick ourselves up. Now, sometimes we have that time where no one is around. We don't have mama, we don't have friend. We got to pick our own self up. Can you identify a tap in song that can pull your spirit up really fast and you're like, okay, I put this on and it just takes me, it pulls me up? Do you have a
Mm,
song that you can identify?
that's a good one. I honestly probably keep that song rolling just based on what my favorite song is. I know of all time, no, I can't. That's a hard one. Let me see.
And it doesn't have to be of all time, it's just something
Yeah,
that picks your spirit up when you're feeling some type of way.
yeah. I would say lately it's been probably a few different artists that some of their songs entirely can do it. But yeah, that's a good question. So I would say something like last year it was definitely Larry June. That's an artist
Oh,
that
wait. Tell me who, say it again.
Larry June.
Okay. And
Yeah,
what was
so
the
it's a
song?
West Coast artist from the Bay, uh, from Frisco. His song was it was actually I gotta give you the name of it in here in a second. It was really just the first song on his most recent album.
Mm-hmm.
And really the album is one of those you can just put on. The whole purpose of it was just you got your top down, you know, sun's going down, but you cruising with, with the air, so that type of vibe is the whole point of it. That one was one. Right now, I could say anything that Currency is coming out with, I'm really enjoying that. Just something that really just sets my mood and gets me back right. Um, I'll throw this one out there for anyone and just really for like the, kind of the wild card, but there's an artist called Toby Lou. And Toby Lou is an artist from Chicago. He's somebody who definitely is a little bit more on the eccentric side, but honestly, he's got his own sound. And so
Wow.
one of his popular songs is called Buff Baby. And so, obviously it's got like this kid kind of a persona to it. But another album, the Toby on Ice, I just put that on from the top and I just let it play. But the Berlin West Side Story is the best song on that album, going real specific here. But it's kind of it's soulful, but at the same time it's still youthful. And so it's somebody who can really sing and probably learn how to sing in the church type of thing. But really wanted to put their own spin on it, right? So that's always cool to have that type of vibe where you can just good day, bad day, let somebody else's kind of a commitment to the music really just take over, right? So that's yeah, even have these types of conversations are powerful. So those are good ones. I could probably go, deep if I go into my phone or something, but that's what's coming up. That's what's coming top of mind.
I like that. I like that. To this point, I know you mentioned you were in the military. You mentioned you work with State Farm. We know what you currently do. If you package all of your life experience together, what has been the biggest thing that you've learned and you use to this day?
Mm, discipline, routine. I'll say like it sounds like I'm because I'm coming out the military, but it's actually the reason that I went into the military is because I actually used to say, man, who wants all that discipline? And then, I kept bumping my head young person. And I was like, maybe discipline was something I need. But more importantly, the thing that I recognized, I would say probably a third word to that is education, right? And not just intelligence, not just awareness, but being educated on something. And it's not about having an education, it's about having, right, an understanding through and through about one person, a particular thing, excuse me. And so through those three things, again, discipline is the thing that I know really, if I wouldn't have avoided it, could have, guided my life in a different direction. But I went and purposely acquired it, and then, in some ways or another, still forgot someone that I learned. But All of that was before I was 21, but all the same, the other elements of routine I recognize are the things that, no matter what you can. I heard somebody said it today, my sister, as a matter of fact, you can become a millionaire on a $40,000 a year salary if you have a routine discipline, like not just
Mm,
being disciplined routinely, right? And so routine, if you learn this as a kid, set your clothes up at night, that type of stuff makes a difference, right? The first hour of the day and the last hour of your day, if you're as intentional as possible, that can make a difference. And so, and then of course, education. I myself did not continue college. I, made it and they sent me home in the first 2 weeks, which is not an exaggeration. But to that point, someone one time challenged me to say, "Are you as educated as you are intelligent?"
mm.
That kept me going. I said, "Woo, woo." Like they don't have nothing to do with where did you go to school or what's your degree. Do you know enough? Is your cup full? And I'm like, not a chance. Like so. Those three things I can tell you I live by. And someone said, do you have any tattoos? I said anything that I have to live by, I should not have to think about. I just shouldn't have to look to go think about it. So that's up here. But yeah, discipline, routine, and education. Thank you for that question. That's a good one.
I love that. I love that because we have been tricked that education is only one way. And I like that you brought up and you talked about the intelligent piece because let me say this, I know some educated fools. They have no common sense. They only operate within the book smart. And we
Yeah,
know in life, you got to have some common sense. You got to be able to feel certain things. Even intuition and natural reaction is a part of your natural ecosystem, as you would say, of
yeah.
education. So
Mhm.
I think we have to get out of it's just one way of doing things. I'm a big believer, and I say this often, it's 7 lanes in a road. We don't all have to be in the same lane. We can all go in a lane that works for us.
There you
So
go.
thank you for sharing that. I think people really need to take that and ingest that, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I like that as well. 7 lanes. Where are you from?
Uh, I'm born and raised in Las Vegas. 7 is my favorite number. So
Ah,
I always refer to the number 7 because we get pushed into this one lane. Like they say, oh, the American dream is to have 2.1 children. I guess that's the dog and a white picket fence. But what if that's not where your soul wants to carry you?
right.
What if that's not where your heart is? So I'm a big proponent. Go where you are loved, go where your spirit is pulling you to learn. And with that, we would be better as a society if we didn't push everybody in that one lane. And that's what this is really about. Even though we talk about music, it's about the variety, it's about you being able to choose your path. So with that being said, before we get out of here, I have one last question for you, and it's
Okay.
about high energy. I love when I say high energy music, I'm like, oh, yes, yes, I'm pumped, I'm pumped, I'm pumped. And with that, for example, when you go out to
Mhm.
dinner and you hear people go, happy birthday to you. And
Yeah.
you, before you know it, people are participating. You don't know them, but by
Man,
the end of the song, they're your friends and everybody's engaging and the energy is just really high. So, can you identify a song that you participated in that's high energy, or you saw a group participating and you were just sitting back like, oh, they're doing that? Can you identify a song or a situation?
yes, it was this morning during my workout session. I was on the belt line here in Atlanta. I'm trying to get it to you exactly how it starts, but I know this part. Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control. Let's go now. Hey, you know what I'm talking about? That's the one. That one, I'm like, that is infamous. That is amazing. So yeah, um,
Yes.
Missy Elliott all day.
Yes.
Oh my God, lose control. That's a great one. Also, in a different room, but basically the same type of music. One that I thought about was, what was it? What was it? Gosh, I want to think about. I know the artist, but I want to give you the actual same thing, the intro. I'm gonna stick with Missy Elliott because it's genuine. So I don't even want
Yes.
to.
Let's clap Missy Elliott up. Yay,
Yeah,
Missy.
I like it. I like it.
Yes, Missy is amazing. I don't think they give her just due, but she is an amazing producer, a performer, singer. It goes on and on and on and on for Missy Elliott.
Yeah, it's not fair to people that everyone likes you. And so it's almost like, well, everybody likes her, but that's the reason why you should continue to give the accolades. Because who says they don't like her music or doesn't like what she's done for their man? What? So yeah,
Yes.
especially as a
Yes.
trailblazer. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I have had an absolutely amazing time talking with you. I have absolutely been the student today. I've learned so much, and I say thank you because of that. And before we get out of here, can you please share any upcoming events, any social media handles, anything you would like to share with my audience?
Sure, absolutely. Let's see. So upcoming events, we'll have a few that are going to be, closer to the spring and summertime, but everyone can keep up to date at community.co, and that's CXMMUNITY.co. And then in regards to just any last, thoughts, I definitely appreciate this. We can run this back. We can keep the conversation going. I'm a music head, so definitely if I get, better prepared, I'm gonna have some heat for you too. So no, so yeah, go follow community, go support a Black entrepreneur. That's it for me.
Okay, well, before we get out of here, for me, I always give my spiel. I'll talk about the journey and the destination. The
Mm.
journey is where we learn and where we grow. The destination is where we celebrate. We all have to have a time to celebrate. I think it's needed and necessary. But the key to it all is to get back into the journey and continue to learn. That's what we're here for, to learn and to elevate to a higher frequency. So, with that being said, with my women, I bow to them. With my men, I salute them. So, I salute you.
Thank you. And as a man, I gotta sue back. Come on now.
And I say thank you so much. I appreciate you for saying yes to come onto my platform. And I would like my audience to please give a warm round of applause to Mr. Julian Fitzgerald.
Thank you.
And before we get out of here, I know you gave your last little spiel, but I allow my guests to have the last words. What would you like to say?
Mm. I say go spread love. After that, go listen to some good music. This is great.
Yes. Thank you. We'll see you out here because I met you in Las Vegas. So I'll say I'll see you out here in these Las Vegas streets.
Absolutely. See you then.
Thank you again.